Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. For this section, we're going to look at how we actually bring the data in with Python. So you can use a Python program to bring your data directly to your database, but that's not our goal right now. We're not really wanting to focus that much on Python as much as on actually having data to use for uh, for our integration purposes. Um, but we can go ahead though and take a look at what the app actually looks like. If you've never done anything with web scraping before, you might go ahead and actually get addicted to it. It's kind of fun. But you can take a look at what this element is. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm using Chrome so I can inspect this element. And we can kind of see over here this 170.15, 170.15. So that's the price. We're going to want that. We're also going to want the symbol. So if you see up here, the this AAPL, that's the symbol of the stock price. You don't have to worry about that too much right now. But basically, you can tell that this website is kind of structured. So this is really going to be the main piece that's going to change. So, So if we go to say, let's go to Google, what is theirs? Goog Alphabet. So see, this is the part that changes right here. And then we see we want price right here. Again, if we inspect the element, we see what 1019.09, 1019.09. So this is where we see the dollar value. And so what we're going to do is we're basically going to build a small Python program that's going to go through pretty much all the NASDAQ pages with the symbol to change. So this is what we're going to focus on changing, and then so we're going to capture this, and we're going to capture this. So I want to see if I can hop on over to my remote desktop. I've never tried this before with this thing, so we'll see if it even works. So we're going to remote into, I'm on my laptop right now, we're going to remote into that pseudo server that I created. It's my desktop. So these, of course, say Yahoo Finance because the video I originally watched was on Yahoo Finance. So I'm not trying to take credit necessarily for this Python program, but just show you how to use it. So we can go in here and we can edit this Python file. First thing we did was we import a URL lib. We import this RE for regular expression. And so symbol file equals open symbols.txt. So this part is important because we actually needed to capture about 7,000 different stocks. So those guys are stored here. So we've got somewhat 7,000 stock names, I guess you could say, that we're going to be using. So what we're going to do is go through each website and we're going to replace that last part with something in this list here, if that makes sense. So to get to that list in the first place, I went to this page here. I basically just Googled stock price list. I think I Googled NASDAQ, and it gave me this page right here. So what I did was I downloaded these three CSV files, and I put them into a text file all together. So what we're going to be doing is parsing through this list. So let's go back to our Python app. So we're going to go through this list basically one by one. We're going to read the list. And of course, I'm not sitting here trying to teach you Python by any means. But we're going to read the list and we're going to split it on this new line character. This is commented out because I was in the tutorial we were testing, just a small subset, so 4 instead of 6 or 7,000. Let's see. We were going through the list, so the list right here was about 7,000. And so when I was kind of testing it out, I I did it for where the value was less than 10, less than 10. But this did not contain everything that I wanted. So while it really is cool that you can do some web scraping, it can be a really slow process going, because basically Python goes to each website, captures that information, and then does something with it. The tutorial initially that I was looking at was just printing it. So some things that I wanted to do that would alter this application were that I wanted to, instead of printing it, I wanted to capture it as output. So I basically wanted that, instead of just saying like, hey, let's look at these prices as a list, let's actually look at the prices as a CSV. And in addition to capturing the data just as a CSV, I noticed it was taking a long time. So I wanted a timestamp that basically said, when the Python script goes to that page, I want to know what time it's going and hitting that page. So this will give me just a little bit of additional information on the process. Basically, how long is this taking? How long is my application running? Is this something that I should optimize later? Again, I'm not necessarily going to optimize my Python script. And my Python script also produces somewhat messy data. You'll notice that the file is going to have some brackets around it and things like that I might try to clean up later. And I thought, I could try to clean this up with Python, but honestly, it would probably be better to give me something messy that I could work with, possibly with master data services later, just so that I have something to kind of clean up. So let's go ahead and look at this beta file. So this is going to be actually the file that's more closely related to what we're going to be using. So if I edit this with the idle, you see I've also imported a datetime function or library, because I want to include a little timestamp with this. So we import the URL lib for going through the internet or going to web pages, this regular expression for reading data, this datetime because we're going to throw on a timestamp. I'm going through my symbols text file. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to read the file, and we're going to treat basically we want to make sure that the Python script goes down the list. So we want to split this on a new line character. So then I'm going to open the file, and this with open, what I'm doing is I'm what's being read up here with the list. As it goes through the list, it's basically going to add each line to the CSV as output. I've got this T tagged onto the tail end of the output just for myself right now, because this one is going to contain a timestamp at the end. The initial ones that I was working with did not have a timestamp. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start with this NASDAQ website, and I've left that tail end off right here. So I'm going to go through the symbols list. So that I is going to basically be that right here. I'm going to start with I being 0, and as long as we're less than the length of the list of symbols, which is about 7,000, this script is going to keep on basically going to each website, opening up the HTML that I showed you earlier. It's going to go and grab the regular expression. So what it's doing is basically looking for that part in the, let's see if I can go back and show you. It's basically going back and looking at, see this div ID, it's looking for this part right here. And where this part right here is 1019, that's going to be kind of like a variable. That part we want to be interchangeable. So that's where this comes in right here. So basically this part's going to be replaced. Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write this to output. One other interesting thing was I noticed that let's say that for whatever reason the stock price wasn't published that day. Where I've got my I here, it might make it for a cleaner output. But if there wasn't a price that day, the script would just stop. So it might run for an hour and stop at 1,000 records, which was not what I wanted. So I'm sure there's a more efficient way of doing this, but basically when I remove this I, or this 0 or whatever the placeholder was. See right here was a